Welcome to Module 6, where we shall be looking at best practices and validation. The objective of this module is to ensure that we write clean, standard HTML and also improve our SEO. Let us dive right in. So the first thing that we shall look at is HTML validation. And before we even jump in, we need to understand why do we need to validate our HTML. And it is for three reasons why we need to validate. Number one, we want to ensure cross-browser compatibility. Number two, we want to identify syntax errors. And number three, we want to improve accessibility and performance. So how do we validate our HTML? And it is pretty straightforward using the tools that are available, most of them free online services, and I will recommend using the W3C validator. So to start us off, here is the simple project that we did in the previous module. If you have not seen the previous module, I'll leave a link up above. And the way we do it is just simply by copying the HTML. And if we go to this specific website, that is validator.w3c.org, we have three ways of validating. If you have hosted your website, you can just paste in the URL of the website and it will be able to pull in the markup. Number two, we can upload our HTML file. And number three, we can validate using direct input. So for this specific scenario, I will use the direct input where I just copy the markup, then paste it here. And to check it is pretty simple. Let us just run it, click check. And after it has done its thing, below it, it will give you a report of some of the things, the warnings and other information. And we can clearly see from the start, we get a first warning. Something is missing from our HTML, and that is the language attribute. Let us go on and add that in right away. So on the HTML tag, let us just say lang, and it's obviously in English. And let us try to revalidate again. And that warning has been removed. The other two are just for informational purposes only. You can see that for the meta tag, we have a trailing slash, and also for the image tag, we have a trailing slash. It has no effect, even though when it comes to HTML5, the slashes are not needed. But since we have configured a prettier on VS Code, prettier automatically adds in the trailing slashes. So that is not something to give us sleepless nights. We can live with that. The other thing that we receive a warning on is the section. So sections lack heading. Consider H1 to H6 elements, identifying headings to each sections, or reuse a div element instead for any case where no heading is needed. So that is something that we can change pretty quickly. Because we don't have a heading for this section, or we can add a heading for this section. In this case, we don't have a heading, so it is just easier to convert this back to a div. We copy it, come paste, and run our check again. And after that, all the warnings have been fixed, and we end up with a clean HTML that is valid. So what are some of the common validation errors that you find? And if we just quickly look at the document, the most common one, number one, missing doc type. You'll find that people will start typing the HTML without the doc type. And since we do have the HTML hint extension installed, you can see that it will give us some squiggly lines to tell us like, hey, something is missing on your page, which is pretty good. Let me return that. The other thing that you'll see is ampersand. For example, I have this code here, And it is basically a HTML neutral code to represent this, the ampersand. So if you want to represent that in HTML, you use the appropriate code. The other one is improper nesting, and it is very common, especially for beginners, or if you have very long content, it's very easy to mess up the nesting. An example, let us say you're starting your paragraph, then within the paragraph, you add in a div, then you forget about the div, you come and close the paragraph within the div. Let me just copy paste this here. And you can already see that you end up with improper nesting. And because we have the HTML hint extension, it is able to pick up some of these validation errors and allows us to fix it before proceeding. And the final type of validation error that is very common is using deprecated elements. How? And in order for us to drive this point home, let us dive into the website that you need to bookmark as a developer, and that is developer.mozilla.org. And under the HTML elements, there are a list of all the HTML elements that are currently available. And an important thing that you need to note is the icon, the trash can icon next to the element. And the other one is the experimental bottle next to the icon. So when it comes to the trash can icon, it basically tells you as a developer, like, hey, this element has been deprecated. Don't use it. And also for the experimental tag, the element is still experimental, not standard yet, so don't use it yet. So if we take a look, there are quite a number of elements that have been deprecated. Fonts, we no longer need to use that. Frames, we no need to use that frame set. So on and so forth. So in your learning of HTML, if you come across such elements, just validate them. The validator will help you pick them out, and you can go to the documentation, see what has been deprecated, and replace them with the one that are currently valid. SEO basics. So what are some of the things that we can do in order to improve the SEO of our page? Two things. Number one, having a page title. Very important. It tells the search engine exactly what the page is all about. Number two, we can add metadata that describes the content of the page. For instance, let us just say we have meta, and you can clearly see just by doing that, it describes what the page is all about. And in this case, description, learn why semantic HTML is important for SEO. Number three, making sure that we have alt text, for example, on images. So we have images, including the alternative text, will also tell the SEO what the image is about. And with a combination of the meta, tag, description, content, the title, very descriptive titles, having alternative text or alt text that describe the images, you end up with very good SEO on the page. Yeah, so that is it. That is the last module of our basics of HTML. And if you have found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and see you in other future videos where we shall be going over some other interesting technologies. JavaScript, CSS, Python, so on and so forth. Thank you, and see you.